It's time for another round of
Pat GPT.
Pat GPT is brought to you by FOMO Sapiens, the podcast for entrepreneurial thinkers. It's the show where I, Patrick J. McGinnis, share some of my own entrepreneurial thinking in the form of inspiration, practical ideas, and knowledge that you can use at work and in your daily life. Today's topic is recommendations for content that spurs creativity. All right, Pat GPT, start generating. So, as you know, our theme this season is the power of creativity. And one thing that I know, and I'm sure you know as well, because we're all human beings, is that creativity is something that can be inspired by great works of content. And content is such a cold word. But I'm talking everything from the podcasts to the books, to the movies, to the music, to the art, all that sort of stuff. When you see that kind of stuff, that kind of creativity reflected onto you, it can give you inspiration for your own works of creative genius. Or just creative non-genius, but still. I have found the people that I know who are most creative are like vacuums. They're sucking up all the content. They're seeing interesting things. They're in the museums. They're in the bookstores. They're in the cinemas. They're talking to interesting people. They're sponges for things that lie outside of their current set of experiences, even if those things are deeply weird, right? Because the further you get from your comfort zone, it's not like you're going to like things per se. Like I go to a lot of stuff and I'm like, God, this sucks. But I don't forget it, right? That's crazy. The weirdest stuff is the stuff that sticks with you. I love that about art and creativity in general. And so what I was thinking about today is I talked to folks. I did some asking around in my network, friends that I think are creative. And then I thought about my own sources of inspiration. And I just wanted to share some recommendations for content that you can enjoy that'll give you a fresh perspective and potentially make you a bit more creative. So we'll be talking about those right after the break.
FOMO.
Alrighty. Talking about creativity. So I have for you guys today 4 types of things. The first is kind of potpourri. Diverse sources of inspiration, like multimedia stuff, right? Now, podcasts is one. Love a good podcast. So one is Radiolab. Everybody loves Radiolab. It's scientific, it's philosophical, it's narrative. You just learn stuff. That makes you think. So start with Radiolab. I also think a little less spicy, but How I Built This is a great place to go. It's a wonderful show. That can be a great source of inspiration and creativity in the business setting. I'll give you a book. This one I bet nobody's read. Well, somebody's read it, but I think this book's really cool. It's a book by Gertrude Stein called On Picasso. And it is a book about Picasso that is written in the Cubist style. You've probably heard of Cubism. It's kind of painting where the painter paints an object from like multiple dimensions at once. So Gertrude tried to write a book in that style, and it is wild. It's so cool. It's not long either, which is nice. So you can kind of get through it. I really love that book. Another book that you could add to the mix is From Bauhaus to Our House by Tom Wolfe. It's about architecture. That book blew my mind. It's just so interesting. You learn new perspectives about building things and designing things. One more, I'm going to push you here. You guys are going to think I'm crazy. There's a video art that I saw at the Pompidou Center in Paris that I've just become a massive stan of. It's called Semiotics of the Kitchen by Martha Rossler. It's this like deconstruction of feminism using like a video about a kitchen. It is, I remember the first time I saw this, it was like, what? And now I go on YouTube and watch it because it's sort of, I don't know, it's just so crazy and interesting. So those are some things you can check out that are kind of potpourri. Number 2, storytelling. Very powerful source of creativity. And there, again, on the podcast side, I would say The Moth is a place to go. And start with the episode about Bruce Feiler and the Council of Dads. We've had Bruce on the show twice. His episode's amazing. Made me ugly cry. But I mean, Any Moth is really, really good. I also like This American Life. I think their storytelling is really fascinating. I always get new ideas from that one. Just the way they tell the stories alone is very innovative. Number 3, go into the vault and embrace some classics. Literature, okay? What are some of the great works? I love The Great Gatsby. I think that is a beautiful book. It spurs ideas and creativity and thinking about the nature of humanity for me. Some of the other ones that are kind of interesting to read in our day and age. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. 1984 by George Orwell, right? On the art side, just go look at any of the Impressionists. Go look at some Van Gogh. I love the old Dutch masters. I mean, just go see great art. I was just in Chicago. I saw Georges Seurat Sunday on the Grand Jatte. Like that, oof, you look at that and just ideas just start flowing out of your cerebral cortex. Like some music as well, some Beethoven. I'm a big Beethoven guy. I wrote my second book listening to just Beethoven over and over again, all the symphonies. I know it's kind of a old favorite for everybody, but number 9 is a hot piece of music. When I was in college, I had a Lucky Rock I bought in high school, and I was told to clean the rock from negative energy. You should play music to it. So I would play Beethoven's Ninth to the rock. I had a Walkman. I'd play it on repeat. I guess it was probably my stereo at this point. And I would take the headset, plug it in, and leave it next to the rock. And that's how I got good grades on all my tests. So I love that song. Finally, get weird. I'm talking about content that challenges norms, avant-garde film. Let's start there. Alphaville. That's the French New Wave. There's another one called Jules et Jean. That movie is totally wacko. There's Pierrot le Fou. I love French New Wave. So those movies, you watch them and you're like, what the hell just happened? I mean, especially Alphaville. I don't know what the hell that movie is, but it was weird and interesting. If you've ever seen Fritz Lang's Metropolis, that's another one. That's from like the 30s in Germany. That movie is insane. So futuristic and crazy. Some other ones, I haven't seen these movies. I've read about them, but I'm a little too faint of heart. But Pasolini. Google Pasolini. That guy was intense. He's an Italian filmmaker. He got murdered. He was super profane. So it's not for everybody. But Pasolini. Another one of that ilk, whose films I've seen a couple of them and they blew my mind, but I don't ever need to see them again, is Gaspar Noé. He made a movie called Irreversible that's super intense. And when they showed it in the movie theater, people would get sick in the aisles. I went with my brother. We were both help. But these movies, you see them and it's whoa, I don't know what I just saw, but I never gonna be able to unsee that. So that kind of stuff's really good to do. And you can do that with art as well. Go to the the museum. Just go to the contemporary section, see the weird stuff, go to the art fair. So good. I mean, you may say to yourself, this is dumb. I would never spend $1 million on this, nor should you. But now you know it exists and you know that somebody's managed to figure that out, that they're able to sell that for $1 million. All right, those are my recommendations, some inspiration. I would love to hear yours. I'm sure I'm missing cool things. So send them my way at letsconnect@patrickmcginnis.com, Patrick J. McGinnis on Instagram, PJ McGinnis on Twitter. All right, we'll be back Thursday with another episode of FOMO Sapiens. So until then, take care of yourselves, FOMO Sapiens, and GPT stop generating.
FOMO.
FOMO Sapiens is recorded in New York City. Theme music is by Mike McGinnis and editing and post-production is by Josh Elstro. If you like today's show, please be sure to rate it and recommend it to your friends. And as always, you can find me at FOMOSapiens.com and at PatrickMcGinnis.com. To advertise on FOMO Sapiens, reach out to contact@FOMOSapiens.com.